So as a busy father, we already know how difficult it is to fit in our workouts. But that's not an excuse to skip out on your workouts. And so what I've had a lot of success with over the years is this 40-minute framework that I've created for myself and my clients that helps you fit everything in. So I'm gonna break it down for you. So imagine 40 minutes split up into 4 10-minute blocks. Okay, so that's the framework that we start with. Each block is gonna have a specific focus with regards to what you're doing inside of the training session. And the way I like to set it up, oftentimes I'll have a running clock. And so I know I got 0 to 10 minutes to start with the first section, then I move on to the second section, third, fourth, we're done. So the first section is all dedicated to warming your body up. This is mobility, this is active stretching. When you start to get into your late 30s, your 40s, you can't jump into your workouts like you used to back in your 20s. No warm up at all, it's just jump in, get to work. We don't have that luxury anymore. And so the first 10 minutes is all based around warming and prepping your body for the real work to come. And I'll just tell you this, man, when you're stretched for time, don't skip your workouts. There's been a couple of times over the past couple of years where I was in a rush, and so I would just jump into my workout without doing a proper warm-up, and I'll just get like a tiny little tweak here and there. And so I'm always thinking inside of my head, like, damn it, I should have warmed up. And so live and learn, don't skip the warm-up. So that's the first piece. Second piece, we want to get the most bang for your buck. And so this is your strength work. This is all dedicated to your strength work. And so the way I like to do strength with this is EMOM strength. So every minute on the minute, we're gonna keep honest on the clock, and I'll usually do 10 straight sets. So I'll use the first couple of sets as warm up, and then the 5 final sets, those are the actual working sets. So that's where I'll start to actually get some heavier weight on the bar, whether I'm doing a squat, overhead press, bench press, deadlift, whatever it might be. So strength work is the second. Third piece is always dedicated to hypertrophy work. So this is where we're doing some density training. When I'm on the clock, I'm usually doing short AMRAPs. So as many reps as possible. Usually I'll just set it to be 10 minutes. And so I'm usually supersetting depending on what the day is. If we're doing like upper body focus, lower body focus, push pull, that's typically what the third section will be all about. Is just, we're doing a superset. Could be push-ups and then rows. And you're just doing that for 10 minutes. You're gonna get a lot of density work in, a lot of good conditioning in itself. But that is all geared towards building muscle, getting strong, maintaining hypertrophy. And then the last section, it kind of depends. So it could be core work based off of the day. So we're doing some focused ab work, whether that's, I'm a huge fan of leg raises. So hanging leg raises, dip bar leg raises. I'll do some GHDs. But if that's not the case, I'll go ahead and do some sort of short conditioning focused piece for the final 10 minutes. So this could be some high intensity intervals on the assault bike or the rower, or it might just do a Metcon. So it could be similar to the AMRAP that we did in the third piece, but it's gonna be lightweight, body weight based stuff where you're just going for huff and puff, and you're gonna push it hard for 10 minutes to finish out the session. So you look at it from a whole. We're starting with your warm up, getting the body prepared. We're going into the big rock, the strength work, then into hypertrophy, and then conditioning, right? Another setup that I've used with great success is that fourth and final section. While it could be core work, it could be conditioning work, I've also done assistance work with that as well. And so a lot of clients that I work with, customizing things to match them, they might be working through different issues with past injuries. And so we might have that last section all dedicated to just prehab, rehab type work. Or if there's a specific focus on a specific body part, might throw some arms in, right? So if you're looking to build up your arms, or you want to do a little bit of extra ab work, it could be like a body part specific focus that we throw in on the very end. But here's the thing to understand with like the last section, the reason it's last, it's of least importance, right? So if you notice the first 2 sections, warm up, most important, strength work, second most important. We want to make sure we get those done, because if you are running short on time, then we cut out the last section altogether. If you can get in the first 3 sections, you're gonna get a lot ROI on your time, but we want to make sure we get that warm up and that strength work in before anything else. So, but that's been a great setup for me over the years. There's been a lot of different ways I do it, and I'll just break down a whole session for you. So typically throughout the week, me personally, I have a 5-day setup. So Mondays is always squat day. So it's lower body focused. Tuesdays is always press, okay? So I'm doing a heavy press. Depending on the phase or the cycle that I'm going through, could be a bench press, could be an incline press, could be an overhead press, just depends. For this example, we'll say overhead press, right? Day 3 is more of a full body conditioning focus. So things will be a little bit different with the setup with regards to Wednesdays, right? Day 4, rest day. So I still do a daily 250, it's just more active rest. And I'm always doing a Thursday throwdown. So if you've been following me on social media, I post up my Thursday throwdown every Thursday, which is a short, high intensity, usually body weight focused type of setup. So, but that's Thursdays, and Fridays always deadlift day. So we're pulling heavy weight off the floor on Fridays. You can guarantee that's what we're gonna be doing. And then Saturdays, I like to call Savagery Saturday, because it's usually high intensity focused. We're gonna be doing some sort of performance-based workout. So it's usually full body. So we're hitting everything head to toe, and we're rounding out the week. And then Sundays, active rest day. So for example, if we go back through the past week that I did, so Monday, we were doing heavy back squats. So I mentioned how I like to do EMOM for strength work. So we go through our warm up, which is obviously focused towards the session coming up. So I'm gonna do a bunch of lower body prep work to prep my body for squats. And so this particular week, we're doing wave loading. So if we're going every minute on the minute, we'd actually do every minute on the minute for 9 minutes. Okay, we're not even utilizing the whole 10 minutes that first or that second section. So the way I was wave loading for this, it was 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3. So every tiny little section is getting a little bit heavier. So the first set of 5, 4, 3, you're obviously increasing the weight, but whatever you did for that first set of 3, you actually take a little bit of weight off, and you're going heavier on that second set of 5 than you went on the first set of 5. Then you're heavier on that second set of 4, heavier on that second set of 3, and then the final 5, 4, 3 is the heaviest you're going for all those. So that sets you up nicely. Sometimes, since we're on such a condensed EMOM, the loading isn't gonna be as heavy. It just depends. When you start to get down into like a 3, 2, 1, you can obviously go a lot heavier, and you can actually fit that in a minute. And it's interesting because I've had guys argue with me and say, hey, you can't get stronger doing EMOM strength. I'm walking, talking proof that that is possible. And if anything, you get stronger, but you also build up capacity and stamina, because you are pushing yourself with shorter rest periods and you're lifting heavier. Like, you're getting the best of both worlds. So you're able to lift heavy weight, but do it while you're actually breathing somewhat heavy, because you're not getting that full 3 minutes rest that powerlifters oftentimes argue need, which I've been able to hit my 1 rep maxes under duress, breathing heavy, which years and years of CrossFit helped build that up, but I don't do CrossFit anymore, just to make that clear. So, but we were hitting heavy squats on the minute, wave loading, and then the second section, this is always the worst, like this is the toughest, because we're working like hypertrophy, assistance work, Bulgarian split squats. So when I'm on a very condensed window, I'll usually do like 3 sets here. So basically you got 10 minutes to get in 3 sets. So if you do the math, roughly 3 minutes every set. So for Bulgarian split squats, usually ranges from 8 to 12 reps. This past week, I was hitting sets of 10 per leg. And then I usually like to throw in some sort of core exercise with that, some sort of rotation usually. So this past week, we were doing cable rotations. So I was hitting 10 reps each leg, cable rotation, within that 3 minutes, I usually had about 30, 40 seconds of rest, and then boom, we're right back at it. So Bulgarians, one of my least favorite exercises, and when you're compacting it into like a smaller window, it's not fun. And so for the third, or the final section, the conditioning, I just put 10 minutes on the clock and I was doing what is called leg cranks. So these were first introduced to me years and years ago by JC Santana. So somebody that I learned a lot of strength and conditioning programming from. I bought all his books, all his DVDs, something that he always had in pretty much all of his programs, JC leg cranks. So you start with 20 squat jumps, and then you go straight into 20 lunge jumps, and then you do 20 squats, and then you do 20 lunges. And that's one set. The goal within that 10 minutes is to get as many full sets of that in as you possibly can. I've been able to work myself up to getting 3 full sets in with a 20-pound vest. Very difficult. So the burn in your quads, it's painful, but that's where you're getting in that conditioning work, but you're also getting in some additional assistance work with your legs. But you're essentially cashing out your legs. And so you look at it, 40 minutes. When you're very intentional, when you have a set time and an end time, it's amazing how much you can fit into that. And it's crazy because I think back to years and years ago when I had more time, I used to waste so much time. Like my workouts would be like 90 minutes, 2 hours, and I would get half the amount of work done in that time than I do now. And so it's very important that as a dad, you are efficient and effective with your time. And so you have to have a framework to what it is that you're doing. So if this is sparking interest with you, if you're wanting a better framework for your workouts, fitness is just one small thing that we cover inside of Forge Father. So to help you out, go below this video. There's a couple of different links for you. Number one, if you're wanting to find out everything that we do inside of Forge Father, you can click on that first link. It's going to take you to a masterclass that's going to share with you the 3 key pillars that we put in place in your life that will help you become a Forge Father. So we're filling all four buckets across the board: fitness, faith, financials, and family. The other link is for a free PDF guide, which you can download, that will give you a whole week's worth of these workouts that I just discussed. So I call this the 7-day dose, and it's all just body weight and kettlebells. And it's your gift free when you take action today. So if you're interested in this type of training, I actually have a full 12-week program. It's called EMOM Magic. And so all of the workouts completely done for you. They're ready to go. All you need to do is take action and put them to use. And so if you want to find out more about EMOM Magic, go below this video, click on the link, and take action.